Hey, I hope you're ready for another 4570 ballistics gel test, and this is something a little bit different. This isn't regular Hornady LeverEvolution, the 325 grain that we all know and love. This is their 250 grain Monoflex bullet. And here is your box right here, classic Hornady LeverEvolution box. We'll flip it around. Oh, here, I'll show you. This is the 250 grain Monoflex, not the 325 grainer that most people are used to seeing. So here is all of your promo data right here. You can pause it, zoom in, read it if you want to. Here's your ballistics information. It is going pretty fast for 4570. Let's pop it open and see what the stuff looks like. These ammo boxes are always a pain to get open. There we go. And plastic ammo holder, open one up. It looks like your standard LeverEvolution load. Here on the front of the bullet, you've got like these little, I don't know what to call that, teeth, sort of. Your 325 grain FTX bullet doesn't quite look like that, so that is a differentiator. Hopefully we'll see some pretty good expansion with this stuff. And the test rifle today is my Marlin 1895 Trapper. It has a 16-inch barrel up top. I've got a Leupold VX3i 1.5 to 5 power scope. And bringing up the rear, of course, I have one of my Mason leather cartridge cuffs. I've got 4570 stamped right in. Check out my website, masonleather.com. I would absolutely love to make you one. And coming over to the other side, I've got to show you, I've got my wild boar design. We'll be taking 3 shots from 100 yards, firing into 10% ballistics gel that has been calibrated to meet the FBI's ballistics testing protocol. And while ballistics gel isn't an exact proxy for big game, it does provide a repeatable medium through which to test various bullets and ammo against each other. After the shots, we'll examine bullet expansion, weight retention, penetration, and velocity. My goal is to provide hunters like you and I with the most objective information possible to help us make the best choice for our particular hunting situation. The ballistics gel in this video has been sourced from Clear Ballistics. You can find a link in the description. So let's go ahead and shoot it. And we're down here at the blocks after shooting that Hornady LeverEvolution Monoflex 250 grain bullet. We managed to capture 2. One of the bullets skated the edge of the block and popped out somewhere, but hey, 2 is better than 1, and it's definitely better than none. So let's look at penetration. It looks like we got one right about 24 and almost 20, we'll call it 24 3/8 inches. And then this other bullet right here is right about 23 1/4 inches. And let's take a look at the velocities for that 250 grain Monoflex bullet. I hope you can hear me. There is a little bit of a breeze, but our high velocity was 1969 feet per second. Our low was 1935, and our average was 1948 feet per second. That is actually very surprising. The stated velocity on the box is 2025 feet per second. We're shooting it from a 16-inch barrel, and we're coming within about 100 feet per second of that with a short barrel. That's pretty cool. All right, y'all, I'm not sure we have seen a prettier set of expanded bullets than what we are looking at right here. These things just look like solid copper roses as far as I'm concerned. What we're looking at here are those Hornady LeverEvolution Monoflex 250 grain bullets as pulled from the ballistics gel. And first we'll talk about weight retention. Respectively, we saw 244 and 245 grains. Average, I round up to the nearest grain, so our average is 245 grains for 98% weight retention, nearly 100%. And if I had to guess where that other 2% went, it was the plastic tip thing that is put in the bullets, and really who cares about that? And then we have expansion. Respectively, we saw 0.82 inches and 0.83 inches, again for an average of 0.83 inches of expanded diameter. That works out to 1.8x expansion. Absolutely incredible for a bullet of this size, of this caliber. And I always try to mention with 4570 bullets that my 2x expansion benchmark that you'll hear me mention for more standard calibers doesn't apply when we get to bullets of this size. When you get to large caliber, really heavy bullets that are moving slower, you can't expect 2x plus expansion. It's just not reasonable, and you don't need it either. The bullets are already gigantic. So when it comes to 4570 and the like, anything 1.5x and above, I consider extremely good expansion. And these hitting 1.8x they're almost 2x as it is. So these things perform just absolutely incredible. Now let's talk about velocity. Our high velocity is 1,969 feet per second. Our low was 1,935 feet per second for an average of 1,948 feet per second versus the factory build velocity of 2,025 feet per second. So versus the factory velocity, we were only 77 feet per second slow, and that's a very big deal because remember, we fired these from a 16-inch barreled Marlin 1895 Trapper. If we were working with a longer barreled rifle, such as a 1895 GBL, some sort of a Winchester 1886, anything like that, I have no doubt that that velocity gap would have been even tighter. I am extremely happy with the velocity we see. And now let's talk about penetration. We saw 23¼ inches and 24 3/8 inches respectively for an average of just under 24 inches. It was actually 23 4/5. I like to be precise with penetration. And to me, that is extremely good. I think these particular bullets could lend themselves extremely well to medium game and below for the 45-70, really anything smaller than a large bull elk, because you're not going to get the over penetration that you can often get with heavier 45-70 bullets. But what you do get is that great weight retention, great expansion, great velocity, great penetration. I mean, anything up to and including something like a cow elk, a black bear, any deer, wild hog, I think this ammo would just perform incredibly. All right, y'all, final thoughts on that Hornady LeverEvolution 250 grain Monoflex bullet out of the 45-70. I'm a really big fan of how this stuff performed. We had 98% weight retention, and I've got no doubt that that 2% that we lost was probably the plastic tips that come in the bullet, so whoop-de-doo. We had 1.8x expansion, which is really good for 45-70 bullets. We're already starting with a big, heavy bullet. We don't need 2x or more expansion like I like to see with standard calibers. It's already big. It's only getting bigger. We've almost got an inch-wide hole coming out the other side. That's definitely enough to do the job. And then as far as penetration goes, this is where I love this bullet the most. We had 23 4/5 inches on average. And you might say, well, why do you like that? There are a lot of 45-70 loads that penetrate a lot deeper. And that's true. And that's why I like it. If you're not hunting bull elk, if you're not hunting grizzly bears, if you're not hunting moose, if you're hunting white-tailed deer, wild hogs, black bear, like the overwhelming majority of people shooting a 45-70 actually are, those loads that penetrate 4 feet, 5, 6 feet, all the way through end to end of a flippin' grizzly bear are completely unnecessary and arguably, I think, overkill. You want more expansion, you want more shock on target, and a bullet like this that expands and actually will slow down and stop after 2 feet or so is a great option for medium game. Because let's not forget, your average white-tailed deer is not any more than about 14 inches wide, and even if you shoot one end to end with this stuff, it's probably going to go all the way through. And if you live somewhere where you need a non-lead bullet option, which is what this ammo is really for, it's what it's marketed for, this is a great option. If you're in California or hunting somewhere that requires a solid monolithic non-lead bullet, this is a great option. So if you've hunted with this particular ammo, let me and everybody else know down in the comments how it did for you. Hey, if you enjoy these videos, check out my website, masonleather.com, and get yourself some leather gear handmade by me just for you. I've been handcrafting leather gear for hunters for over a decade, and I would love to make you something. The link is in the video description. And check out my channel for more hunting ammo ballistics gel tests.